segment of the debate, the candidates for SGA president will have up to 2 minutes for introductory remarks, 1 minute to respond to each of 3 questions, and 2 minutes to summarize his or her platform and tell you, the voters, why he or she should be the next president of Troy University Student Government Association. Let's meet Carter Ray, a sophomore geomatics and surveying major from Troy, and Gus McKenzie, a junior communication studies major from Monroeville. Carter, you have up to 2 minutes to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Paige. Good evening, Trojans. My name is Carter Ray, and I'm a proud candidate to be your next SGA president. I'm a sophomore geomatical science major, and I've been born and raised in Troy, Alabama. Throughout the past 2 years of my enrollment here at Troy, I've had the proud honor and privilege to serve this great university. I've served during my freshman year as president of the Freshman Forum, where I worked hard to give the freshman students a voice and support. Throughout this past year, I've served as an SGA Senator at Large, serving on the Rules and Constitution Committee as the Associate Chairman, where we've worked hard to draft legislation that is solely giving the students support, and as also to aid in the formation of new clubs and organizations on campus that give students great opportunities to get involved. It will be my goal as SGA president to increase student participation across campus, as well as increase Trojan pride, work on the communication between the SGA and the higher administration, as well as working on improving funding for pushing for non-increasing tuition costs for students, working on infrastructure improvements, and increasing funding for the scholarship program. Thank you.
Thank you, Carter. Now, Gus, you have 2 minutes to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Paige. Good afternoon, my Trojan family. I am Gus McKenzie. I'm a communications major with a double minor in public relations and leadership development. First off, I would like to give a big thank you to the students and the faculty and staff of this great university. Over my 3 years here at Troy, I've been blessed to serve in many different leadership roles as well as hold positions on this campus. Through those, I have learned and gained experience and knowledge about how our university works and operates, and I have some knowledge about what the students want, but I'm ready to hear from you. I have tangible, relatable, and realistic goals for our Student Government Association and how it can benefit you. The first of those is to hire more full-time faculty to keep our class sizes small and our advisor to advisee ratio at a respectable level. The next of those is to improve the parking situation by improving the Trojan transit system and working with Derek Brewster in the Student Services Office in improving the TransLock app and the advertisement of those situations. The third of those is to partner with SGA and the Office of First Year Studies to offer more opportunities for our freshman and sophomore students to declare a major. The biggest major that comes into our campus is the undeclared major. And so giving those students opportunities and chances to learn from students in the possible majors that they may take will benefit them. The fourth and most important goal that I have is being an equal voice for all of the students. Most of the SGA presidents have had an open door policy. I want to be more than that. I want to be in organizational meetings. I want to be meeting with leadership on campus and learning the goals that all of you want. I have a goal for myself to be open and genuine. Thank you for the opportunity to run for SGA president, and let's give back with Gus. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Gus. I have a question that each of you will answer, and you'll answer the question in the reverse of the order in which you introduced yourselves. So, Gus, the question is to you first. How do you plan to be an active student representative, voicing student concerns to the administration in a way that is most likely to lead to constructive solutions?
Thank you, Paige. As I said, I think the biggest problem on Troy's campus is an unequal voice from the students. Some students have a greater voice on our campus, and that simply should not be the case. I have 2 solutions to this problem. The first would be open up another international student seat in our SGA Senate. This would provide another outlet for the international students to voice their much-needed opinion. The second of that will be changing from an open door policy to an active policy. I want to be in organizational meetings. I want to be meeting face-to-face with the leadership of Troy's campus so that I can better and more adequately voice that representation to our upper administration. Thank you.
Thank you, Gus. And Carter, you get to answer that question.
Thank you, Paige. I think the biggest quality that an SGA president needs to have is representation. They need to be able to represent their constituents very well. Being able to communicate well with the higher administration and communicating with the students as well. We need to be able to listen to our students' concerns, listen to their issues that they have, and communicate that to the higher administration at Troy University. That way, those concerns can be met. And that is the one and only way, by having a strong and healthy relationship with the higher administration, that those voices and those concerns can be met. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Carter. For your second question, each candidate has an individual question to answer. Our candidates drew sealed envelopes containing the questions before the program. Again, we'll reverse the order of respondents. So, Carter, your question is, it is imperative that SGA executive officers work together as a team. What is your plan to ensure that the SGA officers work as a team?
Well, thank you, Paige. My big thing is maintaining courage, action, representation, trust, experience, and respect. I want to make sure and hold my executive officers accountable for all those 6 qualities. I want to make sure that we have a clear communication amongst each other, and I want to be able to, for us to communicate well and have one general idea in mind, and that's to keep the students first. And I believe that all of the candidates for all the executive offices are very, very well qualified, and their one passion is to serve students. And so I really don't think we'll have much of a problem with doing that, but maintaining clear communication and maintaining trust and experience and holding our executive officers accountable is the best way for that. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Carter. Gus, your question is, what experience do you bring to the table that would make you a great president?
Thank you, Paige. While I have been incredibly involved on campus, I think a few of the things that I have been involved with equip me the most to be SGA president. The first of those is being the Freshman Forum director. While I was Freshman Forum director last year, I served hand in hand with the SGA exec to ensure that SGA reached the goals that it had set. I understand the position of SGA president through my mentor, Olivia Melton. She's an incredible woman, and she was an incredible SGA president. The second of these was when I was a 2017 Impact Leader. I learned more about the faculty and staff and the academic programs than I ever thought I would have known about Troy University. I want to take this knowledge and the knowledge that I have gained from the other leadership skills that I have and put those towards bettering our student body and letting your voice be heard. The third of those is when I was president of my fraternity. I had to work alongside my other exec members to achieve the goals and the tangible things that we wanted to accomplish, and I can move that towards our student body goals and our SGA goals. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Gus. Our presidential candidates will have a third question, and our last question goes to Gus first. How do you plan to implement the ideas on which you are campaigning?
Thank you, Paige. The way that I plan to implement these really depends on the goal. The first goal, hiring more faculty, is by pressuring the university when I sit in as the SGA president to the Board of Trustees meetings. The second, having more reliable transportation systems, will require more and frequent meetings with Derek Brewster, who is in charge of those. The third, partnering with a first-year studies office, will be partnering with Jonathan Seelan, sitting down, planning out how students can get involved with their major, learn what major they want. And the fourth and most important goal that I have is having an equal voice for all students on campus. Putting those into place will require meeting with individual students, as I've already began doing. I want to be able to work for the students and let all of their voice be heard, not just some. Thank you.
Carter, this is your opportunity to respond to that question. How do you plan to implement the ideas on which you are campaigning?
Well, I plan to implement these plans by maintaining a strong communication between the SGA and the higher administration. And a lot of these things I'll take upon myself. Increasing student participation is ways that the SGA, we can provide by increasing our advertisement, increasing Trojan pride by improving student sections, as well as improving communication. We're having frequent meetings with the senior vice chancellors, the chancellor, and the board of trustees members, and increasing funding. We have House Bill 175 that's going through the Alabama legislature, which is anticipating and we're hoping to get an increase in state funding through that bill. And that will provide many opportunities for us to increase funding for the scholarship program, and as well as for us to push for non-increasing student tuition costs, and as well as infrastructure improvement projects.
Thank you. That's it for questions and answers. We're now nearing the conclusion of our program. Our candidates will have up to 2 minutes to summarize their candidacy. Carter, here's your chance to tell our viewers why they should vote for you for SGA President on February 28th.
Thank you, Paige. I have 6 qualities that I think all leaders must possess, and these 6 qualities I promise to bring and give to you, the students. They stem courage, action, representation, trust, experience, and respect. All of the things on my platform are very obtainable, and I think that these things we have currently worked on, but I think we need a better. Increasing student participation, improving the ways we showcase our Trojan pride, improving communication between the SGA and the higher administration, and also as well as working with the SGA and the City of Troy and finding ways to give students, make students try and stay in town over the weekends, and giving them events and things to participate in, as well as I plan to help increase funding for the scholarship program, push for a non-increasing tuition cost, as well as work on infrastructure improvement projects. I hope that I can earn your support and vote on February the 28th. Thank you.
Thank you, Carter. Gus McKenzie is next. Gus, here's your chance to tell our viewers why they should vote for you for SGA President on February 28th.
Thank you, Paige. The first thing that I would like to implore upon our students is please vote. Make your voice be heard so that we can then move and make your voice be heard to the upper administration. It is so important that you get out and you exercise your right as a Troy University student. Furthermore, I would love to be your choice for the SGA President position. I will use the experience and knowledge that I've gained from all of my leadership experience here at Troy to accomplish my goals. When I was an impact leader this past summer, I learned that our class sizes are steadily increasing as more and more incoming freshmen and students come each fall, but the university is not hiring more faculty to keep up with said numbers. I'm going to implore upon the upper administration of our wonderful institution to hire more full-time faculty to keep those numbers low. The second thing, when I was a student services worker in the summer of 2016, I learned more about our transit system than I ever would have known beforehand. I will work hand in hand with Derek Brewster to make sure that a bus is at campus and at every apartment complex every 30 minutes. This will ensure that you don't have to worry about finding a parking space at all because you don't have to drive at all. Third, when I was freshman forum director, we worked hand in hand with Jonathan Seelan in the first year studies office doing Backpack for Kids. We have a great relationship, and I want to further that relationship by letting students decide which major they want so they can get onto the path and find internships and job opportunities. And fourth, and most important, I want all of you to have an equal voice on this campus. I want to get out, I want to meet you, I want to do that by being a more present face on campus than past SGA presidents. I want to be at as many events as I can be at throughout the week, meeting you, shaking your hand, asking your questions. Trojans, on February 28th, please give back with Gus and exercise your right. Thank you.
Thank you, Gus. And those are your candidates for SGA President, Carter Ray and Gus McKenzie.